Welcome to the Oasis. My name's Mike, and this is the State of VR for June 2020, your monthly summary on the most important news from the VR industry. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the PSVR 2, or lack of it. We say goodbye to the Oculus Go. We have some new games to talk about, including Star Wars Squadrons, which I'm super excited about, and then we'll round off this video with the Kat Walk C Omni Directional Treadmill. I hope you've all been keeping safe and well. I've been doing just fine. If you're a regular of the channel and you're wondering why I haven't been uploading that much just recently, well, firstly, it's been really hot here in the UK, making the prospect of putting on a VR headset very undesirable. But I've been getting some quotes for having air conditioning installed, so hopefully that won't be too much of a problem in the future. And secondly, although there's a lot of news going on, there's not really much going on in terms of game releases or new hardware, and I don't want to make videos for the sake of making videos. So I've been taking a little bit of a time out, as I haven't really had the opportunity to do that before, and I have a feeling that things are going to get very, very busy at the end of this year, so I hope you all understand. By the way, if you're interested in an Oculus Quest and you've been waiting for it to come back in stock, well, both models are currently available right now in the UK, and the 128GB model is available in the US directly from Oculus. Sadly, the Rift S is still out of stock, and the Valve Index orders are still taking around 8 weeks to fulfill, but if you want a Quest, you can get one now. I've added a link in the description down below. So this month, I've been enjoying a few VR games such as Phantom, Covert Ops, Tetris Effect on the Oculus Quest, and a lot of VR demos which were made available during the Steam Summer Game Festival. But my highlight this month has been attending the Jean-Michel Jarre virtual reality concert by VR Room, hosted in VRChat, which despite a few technical issues was an amazing experience. I even got dressed up for the occasion by creating a custom avatar using Tafi Avatars, which is a super easy and affordable way to create a completely custom avatar, which are compatible with both PC and Quest. I'll put a link to Tafi in the description down below if you're interested in checking it out. It was just awesome to meet up with some of my friends in a virtual club, enjoy some great music together, and then hang out in a virtual bar afterwards. Maybe I'm going crazy because of this lockdown, but it actually felt like a night out, as weird as that sounds. I really believe this is just the beginning for virtual events like this, as artists can now perform virtually without physical limitations of a venue, reaching a limitless audience, and I think artists are taking the notion of virtual events far more seriously, especially after the huge success of that Travis Scott event in Fortnite. I, for one, can't wait to experience more events like this in the future, and if you want to join me sometime, maybe follow me on Twitter, as I normally post about these events over there. So now let's get into the biggest news from this month, starting with the Oculus Go, as Oculus announced it will be discontinuing this affordable 3 Degrees of Freedom headset. In a blog post, Oculus stated, "Since we launched Oculus Go 2 years ago, VR technology has improved at an incredible pace. Oculus Go's success first proved that the all-in-one form factor can deliver highly immersive experiences. A year later, Oculus Quest redefined the category. The community response has been overwhelmingly positive, and you've told us loud and clear that 6 Degrees of Freedom feels like the future of VR. And that's why we're going all in and won't be shipping any more 3 Degrees of Freedom VR products. We'll end sales of Oculus Go headsets this year as we double down on improving our offerings for Quest and Rift. If you own an Oculus Go headset, you'll still be able to use it even after sales of Oculus Go end. We'll also continue to maintain the system software with bug fixes and security patches through 2022. That said, we won't be shipping new features for Oculus Go moving forward, and we'll no longer accept new Oculus Go apps or app updates into the store after December the 4th, 2020. I had a good time with the Oculus Go, and it certainly helped this channel grow. So although I'm happy to see the back of 3 Degrees of Freedom headsets for gaming, it is a little bit sad to be saying goodbye. One of my favorite apps on the Oculus Go was Oculus Rooms. It was a customizable space where you could invite up to 3 friends over to hang out, listen to the radio, watch video clips from Facebook, or play casual games like Boggle and Monopoly together. It would push the Go to the max and occasionally cause the headset to completely overheat and shut down, but when it did work, it was really great. You could also use Rooms to springboard as a group into a multiplayer game, and the system would check that all the players in your room had the game installed, and with the example of Dead and Buried, a character from the game world would actually come into your room and then take you all together as a group into the game. It was a really great feature, and I haven't seen that kind of social multiplayer integration with the Rift or Quest yet, and I guess that might come in the form of Horizon, but we just don't know at this point. So yeah, farewell to the Oculus Go. You paved the way for the future of standalone, and for that, we'll be forever grateful. Also, in the same blog post, Oculus stated that they'll be streamlining the process of installing apps on Oculus Quest that aren't available through the official store. In a statement saying, "We're excited to announce that in early 2021, we'll offer a new way for developers to distribute Oculus Quest apps. This will enable developers to share their apps to anyone with a Quest, without having to be accepted into the Oculus Store and without the need for sideloading." Now, sideloading content has been a great way to fill the gaps in between game releases and has also pushed the envelope in terms of innovative and experimental content. But many of you out there found the prospect of sideloading quite daunting. Oculus making that process easier is good news, but it'll be interesting to see if this is monetized, how it's managed, and how this will affect SideQuest, who have helped support the community so much over the last year. Hopefully we'll get more information about this new platform from Oculus in the near future. But now let's talk about PlayStation VR. Last month, during the State of VR, I talked about new VR motion controllers Sony have been working on behind the scenes, and it got me excited for the prospect of a next-gen PSVR headset and controllers. Now to date, the PSVR has sold over 5 million units, which makes it the best-selling headset aimed at gamers. Now, the Quest could eventually overtake this figure, but for now, the PSVR is still the top dog. On the 11th of June, Sony hosted an online event unveiling their new PlayStation 5 console. But sadly, during this event, VR wasn't even mentioned. Now, we did get a glimpse of our little robotic friend Astro, but this was just a tease for a game called Astro's Playroom, which will come pre-installed on every console to get players familiar with the new controller. It was disappointing, but I guess Sony didn't want to confuse consumers at this point. It did frustrate me though, as they kept on saying that this is the future of gaming, but the games, in my opinion, just looked a little bit nicer than what we have now in the current generation. You know, we all know that VR is truly revolutionary and completely changes the game, so it's disappointing to see that it's not being mentioned at all. I am hopeful though that Sony will announce their plans for PSVR in a separate event later on, and possibly after the console's release. All we know right now is that the original PSVR will be backwards compatible with the new console, and that it's possible this support will require the use of the new HD camera, which was shown in their trailer. But this, of course, is all speculation at this point. I personally really hope we get a new headset, new controllers, and an updated tracking system, as this could be huge for the VR industry moving forward with Sony on board. But let me know what you think. Were you disappointed about the lack of VR during the PS5 event? Let me know in the comments down below. Although we didn't get much VR love from Sony, we did get some new VR game announcements in June for PC VR and Oculus Quest, directly from developers and also during the Upload VR Summer Showcase. I won't go over every game that was announced during the showcase as there's too much to list in this video, but my personal highlight of this showcase was Solaris. Now, Solaris is made by the team at First Contact Entertainment, the same team that brought us the excellent Firewall 0 Hour on PSVR. Now, Solaris is going to be a 4v4 futuristic sci-fi arena shooter where you step into the role of an athlon, an elite VR athlete. The game will feature fast-paced combat with sprinting and sliding around the arena, with weapon and equipment pickups scattered around the map, and players will be battling it out to hold a control point. Solaris will be launching on the 27th of August for Oculus headsets and will also be coming later to PSVR. Also, to those of you that tuned into the showcase and were going wild asking for Five Nights at Freddy's on Quest, you'll be happy to hear that the game has been announced for release on the 16th of July. And aside from the showcase, another big game announcement that got me really excited was Star Wars Squadrons, which has gone straight to the #1 spot in my most anticipated VR game list. The game will feature a full single-player campaign set after the events of Return of the Jedi, seen from alternating perspectives of both the New Republic and the Empire battling it out for the galaxy. It will also feature 5v5 multiplayer battles between New Republic and Imperial fleets, which will be VR cross-platform play between both PC and PlayStation players. Now, the game won't support VR controllers, but instead will use keyboard and mouse, gamepads, or full hands-on throttle and stick setups. Both the single-player and multiplayer will be fully playable in virtual reality, and although I'm very, very excited for this title, I'm also a little bit concerned that it's going to be very intense and has the potential to cause motion sickness, particularly with newcomers. I put together this little parody clip to show you exactly what I mean.
Woo! Let's do this! Red 5, standing by. Oh, hell yeah, I got him! Don't worry, boys, I'm going for the Star Destroyer.
Let him have it.
Oh, barrel roll. Woo! We did it! Okay, who's ready for another game?
Hopefully, the game will have some robust comfort options for newcomers, as I'm sure many people out there are considering buying a VR headset just because of this title alone. It would be a shame for the most anticipated VR game to be announced this year so far to be completely unplayable for VR newcomers, but hopefully EA has got this in the bag. Fingers crossed. Along with new VR games this month, we also saw the resurgence of VR treadmills as Kat Walk launched their new consumer-focused omnidirectional treadmill on Kickstarter called the Kat Walk C. The Kickstarter campaign has been incredibly successful, and they've managed to secure over $1 million in funding so far, with 30 days left to go. Kat Walk boasts that this new model is the most compact omnidirectional treadmill to date, and they claim that it provides a natural walking experience for VR users and is compatible with all PC VR headsets and games that support smooth locomotion. Now, I was pretty excited about omnidirectional treadmills in the past, right up until the point where I actually tried one. Now, I tried the Omni, which was one of the first VR treadmills to market, which uses a similar design to the Kat Walk with a bowl and specialist shoes that help you slide on the treadmill surface. The problem is, it just doesn't feel natural to walk on these things in my opinion, having tried one, and you'll need to relearn how to walk and run if you want to enjoy VR games using a device like this. Just have a look at this clip on TikTok of someone using a treadmill in a VR arcade, which is also my VR clip of the month. Now, I know many people out there relatively new to the VR scene are really excited about this and are almost hyping it up. But as someone that's been around for a little while and has seen this before and actually tried one, I'm very, very skeptical. Kat Walk have actually reached out to me to review one, so I'll have that coming on the channel in the future, so it'll be really interesting to see if they can change my mind and convince me on treadmills moving forward. Some people are saying, along with Kat Walk themselves, that a device like this could help with VR motion sickness, but my buddy Nathi thought otherwise when he recently had hands-on, or should I say feet-on, experience with one of these things when he visited Kat Walk in China. So if you want to know his thoughts, go and check out his video, which I'll put a little link up to here. I would say the Infinideck is probably the closest device that we've seen to a full Ready Player One experience, and would be way more natural to walk on due to being flat and using a combination of treadmill and belts. But this isn't going to be coming to consumers anytime soon. But let me know if you backed the Kat Walk C on Kickstarter and your reasons why. Also, let me know what games you plan to use with it. I'd love to know in the comments down below. And that is the State of VR for June 2020. I hope you enjoyed this recap of the most prominent VR news from this month. And if you did, leave a like and let me know in the comments. Also, make sure you're subscribed for all my future videos, including future State of VR. And as always, I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.